Welcome back. Now it's time for our weekly energy update with Dan McTeague, President of Canadians for Affordable Energy. All yours, Dan.
Well, thank you very much for that, Teresa. And what a week we are seeing geopolitically. It's a very, very ominous portent of things to come, I suspect, as we see tensions rise in a part of the world that is still responsible for about 40% of the world's global energy. Yes, there are others, North America, Russia, and other countries have developed the means, like think of Guyana and Brazil. But it's an important conflation that is going on in that part of the world, and it is definitely having an impact at the pumps, among other things. We'll discuss the pumps now, and then maybe a little later about my musings on this. But I think the reality is that we're now seeing what is an average increase in Canada this week of 8 cents a liter. Because no one could see this kind of thing coming, where Iran sent in an unprecedented number of ballistic missiles into Israel. We've never seen anyone use that kind of technology. There's no doubt that there will be a response, and that response will have an impact. For now, however, we are seeing here Friday to Saturday, we're going to see prices move up on average across Canada, except for the Maritimes, of about 4 to 5 cents a liter. And that's really what I consider the risk premium, the energy premium. So if you're in Vancouver, for instance, you've been paying $1.66, is now $1.77. That's a pretty substantial increase, 7 cents a liter in the past few days. Over to Alberta, where it was in the low 140s, now in the low 150s. It could be a little higher to 154, 155 for Calgary and Edmonton. Edmonton's always a few cents cheaper than Calgary. There are other communities within Alberta. I've received a number of emails that are cheaper than that, but that's retail, what I call gas bar shenanigans. That's retailers giving away their retail margin, which is about 8 cents a liter, and that's the only difference. Otherwise, they pay the same wholesale price. Must be very expensive beef jerky in many of those convenience stores associated with those gas bars. Saskatchewan remaining, of course, as it does in the 154 range. Manitoba, of course, in the gone up a little bit from the 126 to 128 to 130 range. Ontario, last week we saw 144, 145. We're now seeing 153, heading into 154. So almost a 10-cent increase. Ditto for Quebec, which will in Montreal, Quebec City, and places in between Trois-Rivières and places like that. You should be back towards $1.60 by the end of the weekend. And of course, Atlantic Canada, which is in kind of a really nice spot with $1.50 to $1.60. Look for those prices on Thursday and Friday to go up a net 8 cents a liter. If we don't get an interruption, or every one of those regulated provinces has an interrupter clause if it goes over 5 cents a liter, which it might do, you could see that happen as early as Monday and Tuesday. That said, is that we are dealing with a very strange situation in which energy markets, we have been complaining for some time, have been completely oblivious to geopolitical tensions. They've almost excluded the pressures of that part of the world. There's been false information given about Saudi Arabia abandoning $100 oil, and that they were going to stop production, or their cuts in production. Nothing of that sort happened. It now becomes clear that someone leaked from the White House. Yes, the US president leaked to the Wall Street Journal disinformation about Saudi Arabia and OPEC in order to keep prices stable. Why? Well, as someone who's actually worked with media in the United States, I know how important, especially in presidential and election periods, how gasoline prices can affect the outcome of an election. So attempts have been made not only by the White House, but obviously by hedgers and money managers who have a Democrat bias for whatever reason. Maybe it's the grift they like from the Dems. Reality is that the world is teetering in a very precarious position. Israel has to respond, will respond. The question is, will it go after Iran's nuclear ambitions, or will it go after oil? If it's oil and infrastructure, Iran has said that they will respond by attacking not so much Israel and its oil infrastructure. It's also going to be going after other members, and that's other OPEC members, which could really set prices high. That's why I think there's a possibility that prices normalize here if nothing happens. But there's a good chance oil is up $10 a barrel to $84, $85 a barrel, and gasoline would be up 12 cents a liter this week, should there be a response, as predicted by Israel towards Iran, making this a much more dangerous conflict than anything we've seen in modern times. That's it for this weekend. And Teresa, have a great one. I'll be talking to you next week with more updates as to where we're heading. But buckle up and gas up today if you can.
Thanks for that, Dan. Again, that was Dan McTeague, President of Canadians for Affordable Energy.